If you're a real estate agent right now or a team leader and you train other real estate agents, I guarantee you're making a huge mistake when you take phone calls or when you're at open houses. And it's a massive missed opportunity in conversion. So in this video, I'm going to unpack those situations and how you can change that and actually start converting. I see this mistake all the time. Let's say you actually get an inbound call. It's somebody you don't know, and they're actually maybe interested in seeing properties. So there's a lot of people who advertise, they get inbound leads. You take a call, it's about a property, right? You talk only about the property and you get them kind of queued up, and then the agent misses the opportunity to ever make a true connection about how they actually work in the business, what the consumer can expect from them. Because it's kind of weird, right? Like you want to just go meet them and then maybe explain it then. But the thing is you only have a short period of time to actually make a good impression. So it's totally fine to talk about the process or the house they inquired on, but it's not okay to never say anything about how you do business. And again, what is it that you do that you know you can differentiate yourself, and how can you communicate that? So I'd encourage you to write a list of all the things that you know that you do as a realtor really, really well, including how you operate. So that could be something as simple as, every time that you actually reach out to me, I'm gonna get back with you, usually within a few minutes. It may take me an hour, but I'm never gonna be the real estate agent that you send me a message and you just don't hear back at all, or even the next day. Like, we're talking instant communication in most situations. Or maybe it's a commitment. Commitment could look like, hey, I know that you are out of town, and I want you to know that any property that you see online that you want me to go investigate, I will go and actually do a personal video tour of that property. And we're not talking about the one that the listing agent posted, but I will go and make a tour for you. I will show you the entire neighborhood. I will show you the house, basically every inch of the house. And by the way, when we get off this call, I'll actually send you an example of the last video that I did where I help people just like you that are not, in the area and are out of town. Or maybe it's, if you and I are to look at homes, one thing that's really important to me is that you actually pay the right price for the property and we make the right offers. So I want you to know anything that we look at that you're very interested in, I will take the time to actually step back and do an analysis of every property to make sure that we're not just paying the asking price or where the price that the listing agent or the seller determined the price was worth. We're gonna actually find out what the property is truly worth so that you can make a wise decision when you're making an offer, not only for now, but for the future, so that you don't overpay for any potential properties. So it's just taking the time to differentiate your services, right? Like, what are you truly gonna do? And I think that a lot of the times, agents never get into any kind of this conversation because what they wanna do is they know they're gonna do it. It's just the client has no idea, especially when it's a new phone call or it's the first time you meet them at an open house. They have no idea how you're gonna work. You know you're gonna do it if you actually operate that way, but you've gotta figure out a way to tell them in a very brief and concise, short window of time so it's not weird. And it could look like, hey, before we go forward, I want you to know a little bit about me and the way I do business. If I'm gonna show you this house, I wanna make sure you understand a little bit about what I'm about. It could be something as simple as that as a transition to get to this conversation. And the best scripts are the ones where you ask questions and you base your next response off of the answers to those questions. And so sometimes like the financing comes up, right? You don't have to force the financing thing, but if somebody comes to you and they say, we're pre-approved for a loan, maybe what you say back is this a person that is doing the loan that you've worked before and that you really trust? And so you just take it a step further so that the consumer feels like you are totally on board with making sure that they're covered from every angle. Most agents don't always do this right up front, and if they do it up front, it's too soon and it seems very aggressive. So there's a lot of nuance here. What I'm saying is make sure you don't take a phone call from an online lead and actually talk about the property and then talk about the process and then you stop. Like, you need to take it a step further, and you need to talk about you as an individual and how you operate so that they have some level of understanding of who they're working with. If they're working with Aaron, this is what we can expect from him, because that's not assumed. Like, we think because we do it all the time that they're gonna know what that feels like and looks like. They don't. Like, you actually have to take the step to tell them. So at your next open house, at your next phone call, make sure you still continue to do what you do with your scripts. Make sure you continue to do with your, dialogue of talking about the house they're inquiring on, and then maybe a little bit of about the process. But do not skip the step of actually talking about why me. And you don't have to call it why me. I call it why me, but you do need to talk about yourself and how you operate and what they can expect from you. So if you want to master this technique, what I'd recommend is unpack what you offer, what you really know you can. I mean, realtors do hundreds of tasks. What promises can you make? What commitments can you make? And how do you actually operate with regard to communications? And how can you jam that into getting a very good flow of a 30-second, 60-second, 1.5-minute conversation, and then deliver it every time with every prospect that you work with? And if more advice like this would be helpful, make sure you watch all the other videos on this channel. And if you have something very specific, if you're looking to grow a team or anything like that, just know that you can always reach out to me and I'll be there to help you.